Hey, no one will tell you this, but sometimes the best decision to take in life is to F around and find out. I guess you can hear like the huge background music, but just ignore that, right? But yeah, sometimes in life, you just need to forget about asking people for advice. You need to forget about relying on your parents, on your teachers, on your guides, right? And you just need to go, right? I'm a young man, right? And I've been listening to these like fake dads, these like father figures and mother figures of my life, right? I've been listening to them all my life, right? There's no one decision I've taken without their guidance. I've not done anything on my own, right? So what if I just, like, for this one time, just use my own discretion, right? And go have some fun. And bro, trust me, if you don't do this at least like once in your life, oh shit. Yeah, if you don't do this at least once in your life, you're missing out on your teenage years, bro. Like, it is one of the most fun things you'll ever do, right? Do not waste your teenage years by listening to your parents for everything you do. Like, of course, don't like go and like do drugs and stuff, right? I mean, if you see, what I'm saying is that as long as you know what you're getting into, everything is fine. But most youngsters don't know what drugs are, right? So of course, don't go do drugs, don't get wasted and stuff like that, but go have fun, right? Push the boundaries a little bit. Maybe go ride a scooty, maybe drive a car, right? Do it safe, of course. But sometimes all it takes is effing around and finding out, of course, right? In a limit, right? Like, make sure. So you know what I do, right? I love effing around and finding out, right? But the thing is that you must always do this when you're with friends, right? Because that way it's much more safer. It's always safe. Even if there are two people, it's like much more safer, right? How? You have two brains, and there's a huge chance that if you're the risk taker, the other person would be like, okay, I think you're pushing it, right? But if the other person's a risk taker, right, and they're pushing it, you're gonna stop them. And it is very important. It's very crucial to have at least one more person with you. Why? One, it's so you don't, like, get scared and you don't end up doing anything, right? But that barely happens. Usually, if you're, a happy, high testosterone man, right? Usually you'll push your limits too hard, you'll go too hard on the effing around, and you might get into trouble, you might mess things up. So, and that is like the most dangerous thing that could happen, right? So don't do that. Don't go alone. Don't ever go alone. It's a bad choice, right? And so what do I mean by effing around and find out? I mean, like, going to discover abandoned malls, going into a forest, of course, right? And of course I don't mean like haunted, like an abandoned forest, but a forest, right? Like a foresty region, going on treks, right? Maybe bunking college and going out to the beach with your friends, stuff like that. That's what I mean by effing around and finding out, right? you know the stuff where the consequences are like, you get grounded, right? You get scolded by your parents. Stuff where the consequences are legal, including you going to jail, you getting fined. See, you're getting fined, right? That's debatable in a lot of circumstances. Like, if it's you know taking a train without a ticket, once or twice, right? That's fine. But other things like harassing people in public and stuff, you get fined heavy for that. That's not okay. So, right, basically anything which doesn't land you up in jail, or doesn't get you bankrupt, okay, or doesn't get you killed or injured, is fine. Anything about what I just mentioned is off limits, right? So let me give you a few examples of me figuring out and finding out, right? There's, usually most of my, episodes of, figuring out and finding out are usually bunking college. but it's also going to malls, cold approaching, right? Having fun, talking to strangers, uh, dancing with strangers, right? It's also a lot of exploring abandoned places with friends, uh, sneaking out of home at a night stay, stuff like that, staying up all night, right? And you may be like, okay, but like it doesn't sound that fun. That's because you do not push your limits. You need to go out and have some fun, right? And I know what I'm saying is sounding crazy to a lot of people, right? They're like, okay, like it's crap advice. A lot of people say that, but trust me on this. You just need to go break a few rules which won't land you up in jail. Don't break like you know constitutional rules and stuff. You know what I mean. Like break a few college rules, right? Get out of class, right? Go out with girls, do stuff like that, bro. Right? Eat in class, right? Have fun, bro. Crack jokes with your teachers, flirt with a senior, right? Maybe like have a sip of alcohol when your dad's drinking beer. Ask him if you can have a sip. Maybe he'll say yes, right? Maybe you know uh, bring a girl a rose on like a random day, right? Ask her out, right? Maybe go in for the kiss on the first date, right? Go do that stuff, bro. Of course, analyze the situation, right? Don't be a creep, don't be awkward, don't blame me for any of the consequences that you have to bear, right? Just enjoy your lives without dying, injuring yourself, or landing up in jail or getting fined, right? Simple way to do this is, if the highest amount of consequences I can get is my parents scolding me, that's fine. Anything above that is off charts. So stay happy, stay wild, stay off limits, and stay happy. Mwah.